Between 2021 and 2022, how did I go from producing beats like this to releasing full songs like this? Everything I learned was almost entirely online, and even though I had enough scholarships to stay in college and study music production, that's not how I learned initially. Stick with me to the end of this video to see how I went from mechanical engineering student to producing for clients remotely in only a year, and learn how you can do it too. I offer mixing and mastering services, release music, and a lot more. You can check all that out in the description, and let's get into it. So step 1 is finding your why. Why do you want to learn music production? What are your goals? And exactly who do you want to be? The more you define and commit to these goals, the easier your path is going to be. And the more you dive into it, the deeper it becomes, the more detailed you realize it is. You'll find that a music producer isn't just a music producer. There's audio engineers, there's live recording engineers, there's independent artists that produce for themselves, there's beat makers, EDM producers. Each of them have unique skill sets and unique goals. This is the step that takes the longest, and this is also the most important step. For example, if you want to make pop, your creative process is going to be completely different from a hip-hop beat maker. Maybe you decide you want to be a content creator and run your own business as a music producer. Once you decide that, there's 20 more levels to go, like what colors your brand is going to be, exactly what genres you're going to do, how you're going to work with artists, which artists you're going to work with. This list can go on. So really define exactly what you want to do. And part of this step is doing the basic research. Figure out what really is music production. What does the actual music industry and music business look like? How long is it going to take to learn? What are some realistic income streams, and how do you actually build those? The more research you do, the more understanding you'll have of music production and what you want your goals to be. And then of course you'll have to experiment. You're not going to know off the rip exactly what you want to do. For example, I started making beats. I was pumping out 5 beats a week, trying to make type beats on YouTube. And I realized I didn't want to make 5 beats a week. Instead, I actually wanted to produce full songs as an artist, and I also wanted to have a business. So that situation is unique to me. I want to work remotely versus running a recording studio. I'd rather run my own business than be involved with the record label. All these decisions came from experimentation and research. Even something as simple as my brand colors, which are red, black, and galaxy, or the image I have in these videos of tank tops. All these decisions come from knowing your why, and everything for me comes back to that purpose of creation. As long as I'm creating, that's all that matters. Maybe for you, it's helping people and making impactful music, but you need to decide that for yourself. Next is figuring out what. What exactly do you need to learn to achieve these goals? And ultimately, this comes down to a learning plan. The only difference between having a college course and learning online is that the college course is going to have a structure. Instead of relying on that structure, make your own structure. Or use mine. I have a complete checklist down below that you can download for free. As long as you follow these steps, you'll learn every single aspect you need to of music production. The problem isn't that there's a lack of information. The problem is there's so much information and you don't know where to start. It's easy to get frustrated when every time you type in music production, you get the same exact hypey videos, clickbaity videos. Instead, realize exactly what you need to learn. You need to start at EQ. You type in how to EQ, and that's what you start with. You work your way up. Next is how and who do you learn these from? I chose 2 to 3 mentors or YouTubers to learn from. For me, it was 3 different kinds of channels. One, I chose a tutorial channel. Another was an artist that makes songs and breaks down exactly how he does those songs. And then number 3 is actually an EDM producer I just found. So I have 3 completely different styles of learning under my belt. The reason we choose 3 is so you have different creative processes. You can see how different producers work, how different producers think, and really just study your favorite producers. But you don't want to have too many because that will lead to confusion. You'll end up hearing the same things over and over again, or conflicting information. This was the number 1 mistake I made in business. I was listening to completely conflicting points of view, and my mind was in complete chaos. Choose 1 to 2 people and learn from them. Doesn't have to be me, but I am committing to making these tutorials on YouTube and hopefully helping someone out. Next is figuring out when. Setting those deadlines and expectations for when you're going to learn these things, how you're going to learn them, how you're going to manage your time. So now that we've done the research, we know maybe you want to make beats and you've done the research, you realize, okay, I need to make 5 type beats a week, post them on YouTube. I also need to do content creation. You've got to figure out how to fit those things in. Every successful music producer or artist or anything I've seen generally has a sense of urgency. So what I did was I started out with that 5 beats a week, and And then when I transitioned to making songs, I decided 2 to 4 hours a day, I just learned production. And depending on how much time I had, I'll increase that number of hours every single day, as much as I possibly can. Next, we need to redefine our why. So at this point, we've done a crap ton of research. We've done a lot of experimentation. We've probably made a lot of beats or music or whatever you're trying to do. And expectations are just that, expectations. You don't know exactly what to expect going into it. Maybe you decide music production isn't for you. Maybe you decide it isn't a career and you just want it as a hobby. Maybe it was a hobby and you decide you want it to be your career. And you decide instead of trying to make beats, you want to make full-time songs. Maybe instead of a producer, you want to be an artist that releases your own music. So this is where goals change and you create a more long-term plan. 2 years, 3 years down the line. And all these steps are completely fluid. It's not going to be a checklist. You're just going to have to keep growing in every single area. Next step is figuring out your support and your mindset. A lot of people get into music and music production because they think it's fun, they enjoy doing it, but when you do something for an extended amount of time or try to make it a career, it's not going to be fun all the time. And sometimes people equate fun to be passion, but they are two separate things. A hobby is fun, but a career has to be more than that. So maybe you realize, oh, this was fun, but when it's not fun, you don't actually care about it. You can't lose sight of the true end goal and the reason you're really doing it. You can't just be doing it because it's fun or because it's like a game. Because if it's just about fun, then you might as well just play video games. Keep caring about what you do, keep going, keep learning as much as you can. Have that support system in place so you don't fall apart. You also have to figure out what you're really willing to do to achieve this. Because it does take more than just production skill and a couple of hours with a DAW. Teams and labels won't believe in you until you're already successful. Final step is never stop learning and always try. It can be easy to detach from your goals and try to say, oh, it doesn't matter if I achieve this or not. But you have to keep learning, you have to keep trying. That's the only way to keep going. If you don't try, you never fail. But if you don't try, you never succeed. I'm putting together a playlist where you can learn production right on this channel. In music school, I've learned a billion things that have nothing to do with my career. On this YouTube channel, I'm going to streamline that so you can learn exactly what you need to know. You can click here to watch that next, and I'll see you there.